Welcome back. Welcome to Tarot 2T. Today we're going to do a mid-month reading for the sign of Libra. If this is your first time, welcome. Glad you found my channel. If you're returning, double welcome. I'm glad you came back. Okay, let's pretty much get right into it here. I won't delay any longer. There's no reason to, right? Just want to make sure we're all nice and shuffled up. Sometimes I have to swirl these cards around Libra because they're kind of stiff. So if you see me doing crazy acrobatics, that's what's going on. Okay, let's look at a situation you're dealing with mid-May 2022. And then some complications with that situation, just to give us a little bit more insight. And then some cards of advice. We have to tell our Libra what we think about how they should approach this situation. Some things they could do, I'm going to move it down a little bit. Some things they could do to improve the situation. How about that? Alright. Is that one or two? Oh, it's just one. Okay. Alright, Libra, let's see what's going on with you. Something to do with your security and balance here. Or stability. Stability, security. And you had a major ending with this Ten of Diamonds. Oh, wow. And you had a completion. Major ending and a completion. Something to do with your finances. It's screaming finances. So, let's see here. So this Four Clubs is about basically you're feeling mentally very stable. You know how that sounded? That sounded like you're a lunatic and finally you're stable. That is not what I meant. This stability could come in all different forms, right? Especially if you're dealing with finances. Maybe something's been really stressing you out, so it's been leaving you kind of unstable. That's what I mean. Don't mean to offend anybody by saying you're unstable, or you were. You are now and you're balanced. I have a feeling this had to do with some kind of business or work situation, for sure. Let's look at the Nine of Diamonds first. Again, this is a completion, whereas the Ten of Diamonds is like a final wrap up, right? This Nine of Diamonds is talking about like some kind of what do you call it, infusion of money suddenly flowing around in your life. For instance, you could be spending a lot of money on some kind of major purchase or repair. It could also mean that you're paying off debt. So perhaps the stability of mind I keep thinking of stability in terms of mental illness, and I do not mean to imply that. Just laugh with me if you would. But if you had like a lot of debt hanging over your head, you're just feeling a little better about it. You know, more secure. How about that? But this Ten of Diamonds, this is telling me that you've wrapped up some major cycle, like maybe a major cycle of not being able to meet your financial needs here. And this is kind of along the same lines as the Nine of Diamonds. In this, there's a lot of money circulating around, but in this sense, you're having some kind of personal success and a huge change in your finances, and that actually goes hand in hand with this Nine of Diamonds. So suddenly you've gotten some kind of boost, not necessarily windfall, not necessarily like winning the lottery, but it's allowed you some freedom and it's eased your mind. Queen of Clubs. The Queen's a nice lady. And this could be you, it could be somebody else. This can be a fire sign, just to give you the heads up on that. I was trying to think, who is the clubs? It's the fire signs. The Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries, okay? It's an authority figure of some sort, and it could be somebody embodying this mature female energy. You don't have to be a female. But there's a lot of charisma and power mixed up with this card. There's also the propensity to have like a sudden mood change. Perhaps you are feeling a little bit moody about how you want to go forward if this is you. If this is somebody else, I mean, it could be a partner, it could be some kind of family member who's just kind of expressing, for some reason I'm zeroing in on the moodiness of this card as opposed to the other aspects, which are actually much stronger. This person is a very grounded but reserved person. They don't express a whole lot. Or at least this person who embodies this energy is that way. And maybe they are. Okay. We'll move on. 8 of Diamonds. Oh my God. You saw me shuffle the cards. You got the 10, the 9, and the 8 of Diamonds. Major, major money stuff going on with you. It's good to hear. But this, in this sense, this is about some kind of hard work paying off. That would make sense that you had some kind of completion. I mean, it could be wrapped up with a job where you actually got this promotion you've been working on, or a project that was that you've been working on individually, because this is also the card of entrepreneurship, and you got this big payout. And it's eased your mind, and it's allowed you to pay off some debt. That's it. See you later. No, I'm just kidding. Because then we have this Queen of Clubs, and we do have to find more out about her, who she is, what she represents. I'm going to go ahead and look at your complications, okay? 4 Spades. This is, again, stability and security, but a completely different energy. The 2 of Clubs. This is about balance and harmony. And the Jack of Diamonds. This Jack of Diamonds has come out in a lot of mid-month readings lately. I guess I could start there. It's a younger, less mature energy. It doesn't mean an immature person. Someone, I like to think of it as somebody who's less experienced. Honestly, it could be you. It could also be some kind of earth sign. The diamonds are an earth card, like the pentacles. The one thing to know is that if this is involving finances, which I'm pretty sure it is, we have a very strong diamond pentacle presence here, okay? There's some kind of confusion around these finances. I'm not picking out what that is. Except with this 2 of Clubs, I'll just move on to that. There's some kind of instability in communication. There's some kind of communication that needs to happen. It could involve this Queen of Clubs. And this is bringing some kind of confusion in some realm of the finances. I mean, it looks like you're pretty sure what you're going to do with them and how they're going to be used, and you're feeling very confident and secure about it all, but the 4 of Spades, though, this is basically saying you need to release some kind of stress. I don't know, maybe there was some kind of family struggle with this money. That's who this Queen of Clubs could be. I mean, I'm not sure what that is. Or like, I'm just trying to see in the context of like a work or business situation. I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, maybe you got the lion's share of some kind of project you were working on with somebody else. And the communication wasn't clear about how it was going to be split up. And it's caused you a little bit of stress. So this 4 spades and this 4 clubs are kind of pulling at each other. So you have the contentment and satisfaction here, and then here you have stress. So just recognize that that could be a dynamic that's playing out. And there's definitely some confusion about it with this Jack of Diamonds. Maybe it's a case of you wrapped up this project, completed this job, you have to split the money or the proceeds with somebody else, and there's confusion about how to go about it. Like, you maybe feel like you deserve more, or it could be the other way around. That person feels like they deserve more. In other words, you don't see it as a 50-50 split. There could be other people involved, although I haven't seen the third party card come out. It may come out in a second since I just mentioned it. Nope, I got the 8 of clubs, so no third party necessarily. But 8 of clubs is nice because you're moving ahead, even though there's this conflict here. Well, it's not an out and out conflict, right? But even though there's some instability and there's this need for communication, you are moving ahead with your plans. Honestly, this 8 can represent some stubbornness. Like, you are going ahead. You are going ahead no matter what's going on with these 3 cards. Yeah, you have a very fixed idea about how it should go down, despite some probable, like, inner conflict. That's what I'm trying to say. Which is a surprise. Libras don't usually take that kind of stance. They're more, they have a stronger sense of equanimity. I mean, of things being equal and balanced. But hey, I'm not in your shoes, so this could be a very different type of situation. This is funny. We have 8, 9, 10, and Jack of Diamonds, though. And now we have the King of Diamonds. King, you took control. Pretty sure this is you. This could be the other person or persons, or some kind of force or energy, entity, I meant to say. But the King, I like to see these kings as kind of having the final say, like almost like a judge sitting in the middle, listening to all sides, and the king makes the final decision, because it's going to be this way. Okay, next. You know what I mean? This person has a very strong business sense. I think it's you. You may have very strong earth in your chart, because again, all these pentacles, diamonds are earth cards. Or you could be dealing with a Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus. I mean, it's not off the table. But again, we have the card of entrepreneurship, so I'm feeling like this is from very specific Libras that were involved in some kind of small business or some kind of startup. Yeah. Because we had entrepreneurship pop out earlier. Just see if I can pick up anything else on that. I'm not really getting anything else, but there's definitely a lot of complicating factors. And now we have the 5 of Spades. This is about changes that occurred because of other things that happened. If I had to venture to guess, it probably changed dynamics in relationships for sure. It's kind of disrupted some kind of ties, is what I'm picking up. Sometimes this can be a disruption. I'm speaking too fast. Disruption in lifestyle or other kind of surprise events like that. But again, I'm focusing on this inner conflict. Yeah, I think it changed some dynamics. I'm not picking up like a strong, close personal relationship like a marriage. I don't see a lot of that kind of element come out here, so I'm not going in that direction. I think this is more of like a business partner. Yeah. Let's see what your cards of advice are. Oh, 7 of Spades. Six of Hearts, that's nice. And we have the Eight of Spades. That's very interesting. Got spades on both sides, which spades could honestly be kind of a downer. I won't beat around the bush. And you have the nice hearts in the middle. Let's talk about the hearts first. This could very well be asking you to consider taking your heart space into consideration, because the six is about opportunities and pathways and different ways you can go. Okay? I'm getting a very, very clear vibe on that. Listen to your heart, listen to your heart space. Feel your way through this instead of just think your way through this, that kind of stuff. Because you can make other decisions, and I think it's saying that would be the better decision. That would be the better approach here. The Seven of Spades is about removing some kind of... it's hard to describe these sevens, but they're generally cards of experience. It's just kind of like what you're experiencing. It's almost like you need to remove some element of this experience, like erase it from your mind, because it's causing some kind of separation between you and somebody else. And with this Eight of Spades, you had a couple eights come out here. I mean, things are moving ahead, but again, you're kind of bogged down in this work challenges energy. This is all about work challenges, stress. It's affecting your mental health. It's affecting your physical health. And I can tell you, I can relate very strongly with this today, because I had a kind of crappy day at work, and I'm seriously considering taking a mental health day. So if you need to take a mental health day, like tomorrow, there is nothing wrong with that. I don't know, what your background is, whoever's listening and watching the video. Some people, I don't know, feel guilty about taking a day off. I sometimes have a little twinge of guilt, but honestly, if you need to take a day off just to clear your mind and feel human again, because someone, put you in this place where, you know how it goes. Sometimes things just don't work out the way you had planned. You thought people thought more highly of you, and it just seems like they're pushing you around. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about my issues, but yeah, take a break. Take a break, because you definitely have that mental stress here, and it's pertaining to work. Yep. Because the Four of Spades here, just to remind you, was about that, about taking your break. It wasn't as strong in this element, but it's very strong with this Eight of Spades. Oh, wow. So we got a Five of Hearts. Do you see this? Five of Hearts. Six of Hearts. In succession. These cards were mixed up. Seven of Spades and Eight of Spades. I couldn't have done that. I mean, I couldn't have pulled those cards out on purpose. Sometimes this just amazes me. This is how I know I'm tapped into something. Anyway, so again, enough of my I don't know what you call that, just self-adulation. No, I'm just amazed. I'm amazed and grateful. But the Five of Hearts, again, this is about changes that happen because of other changes. And this particular place, this caused some kind of separation. This could be mental, this could be physical, this could be both. It could also mean other separations in other contexts, but I'm really feeling like there's some kind of separation between somebody. I'm hearing colleague, that you considered a close colleague. Could be business partner, but I'm hearing colleague. Yeah. And you need to remove some kind of I think, opinion. Fixed idea. Remember that over here? We talked about having kind of a mindset, I'm going ahead anyway. And come from your heart space, Libra. That's the decision, that's the crossroad, not the crossroad, but the path you need to take. Because there's many paths you can take. Yeah. Yeah. And it's going to release some of this stress, this work stress. Because I don't think you're out of the situation. It's not like you sold a business and you're gone. I think you're still in there, and you need to somehow smooth it over and keep moving. One more card before we wrap it up for Libra. Oh, 7 of Hearts. So this is, again, this is a card of redundancy for me, because we already established that some unfortunate changes came around, and it kind of pulled at your heartstrings, but we already saw that come out very strongly in your advice. No hearts down here, but you got it all up here. This is about how you feel about things on the inside. You may not be vocalizing, you may not be out and out with these feelings, but they're there. And you felt very disappointed. It's coming out on this side of the spread, so how I usually read this and interpret this is where you want to get away from. The separation and the feeling of disappointment, which has really affected how you feel about this person or persons. On the other hand, you do have to use your heart. You kind of have to use that soft spot and remember that that's what's really important. In other words, you kind of have to put your ego in check to get this stress relief. I think it's a pretty clear reading. It looks like, there's a lot of positives with this abundance and success you've had, but there was definitely some emotional things mixed up with this that have made it complicated. So I hope this helped. If you want to know when the next reading comes out, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate that, and it'll give you a notification. So it's a win-win. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit a thumbs up, and I will see you again soon.